It's time that you know the law. We're excited to welcome attorney Mike Rose. He's with the law offices of Michael J. Rose, PC. April 18th, it's creeping upon us very, very quickly. A lot of questions about this. Taxes and bankruptcy. Normally when you think of one, you can't ever get rid of taxes. First off, what should you do if you find yourself, Mike, in trouble with some taxes? Is it just like hopeless?
Well, the first thing you need to do if you've got an issue with taxes is make sure that you have hired someone that, like an accountant or a tax expert, to determine whether you need to file amended returns, if there's anything to reduce your liability. Now, once the liability's been determined, you know you owe the IRS a certain amount. At that point, you may want to talk to someone about doing an offer in compromise, or a lot of times tax problems are accompanied by other sorts of financial problems. A lot of times a bankruptcy can be an all-inclusive solution to those sorts of situations.
You said offers in compromise. You can make deals with the IRS? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's outside of bankruptcy,
Okay.
and a lot of people want to try that first before they file a bankruptcy. And that's something that I recommend if you're not having other types of financial problems. The problem is, most of the time, it all comes at once. It all comes together.
And you're like, what am I going to do? And that's where actually a lawyer is actually going to help you out. It's going to help you get those questions. Can you rid yourself of taxes?
There are some taxes that you actually can get rid of in bankruptcy, some of them that you cannot. And on the taxes that you cannot get rid of, if you choose, you can set up a repayment plan through Chapter 13.
Okay.
So taxes that you can generally get rid of are taxes that are more than 3 years old if they were not assessed within the last 240 days. Income taxes, once they get to be a certain age, you can discharge them in bankruptcy unless there's a tax lien that's been filed.
Okay. And more than likely, is that the case a lot of times?
A lot of times we are dealing with tax liens, and that's also something that we can handle. If you go through a Chapter 7 liquidation, you're going to come out the other side. You may have gotten rid of some of the tax liability, some of the older tax liability if there's not a tax lien. If the taxes are more recent, or they are things like sales taxes or other trust fund taxes that don't have a deadline on them, you're always going to owe them for the rest of your life. There are things that we can do with those. In Chapter 7, you'll be left with them, but if you choose to do a reorganization, a lot of times what we do is split the tax lien claim up, split the other taxes up. Some of them can still be discharged, and then the remaining taxes that have to be paid back go into a payment plan over a 5-year period.
Okay, now when you're dealing with this much stress, imagine if this came down on me, I'd be dealing with so much stress. I mean, like, I don't know, you're saying a lot of words I don't even understand. Your goal is to bring them in the office. You sit down. Let me show you what we're talking about, what we're going to do. Here's the plan. This is going to do this. I would imagine. Am I right on that assessment?
Taxes are complicated.
I know they are, but your purpose is to make sure that they understand everything's going to be okay. We're going to handle this.
That's right. I've had clients who thought they would never get out of tax trouble. A lot of times, all it takes is sitting down with a professional, letting that professional look over your information, your tax information, and determine what's the best way to handle it. I've had clients who were several $100,000 in debt, were able to get rid of most of that tax debt, pay a small part of it back during Chapter 13, and then have their tax lien released.
All right, and it can happen, and that's why you need an expert. And you want to find out more about your rights when it comes to debt collection and bankruptcy laws, contact Michael J. Rose, PC. They're located at 4101 Perimeter Center Drive. That's Suite 120 in Oklahoma City. Give them a call, 405-605-3757. Easiest way on the web, MikeRoseLaw.com. He's also on Facebook at Michael J. Rose, PC. Nikki?